Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Codentech. My name is Shibam Dhar and I will be the host of this talk. With me, I have Mr. Sandeep Singh, who is working as community manager at Code Asylum. He is growth hacker at Commudle. Right now, he is also working as South Asia community lead at KOII. Welcome, Sandeep. How are you doing today?
Hey Shibam, I'm good. How are you?
I'm also fine. First of all, thank you for joining me today. And it is really great that you took out the time. Thank you. So let's start with our questions. So my first question is that you had a long journey with various communities because
Mhm.
there are other communities which I haven't mentioned like DSC and
Merge intern
that
and stuff. Yep.
yes, and so many other things. So what made you take the first step and how?
So for me, the first step was initially all the time I have been focusing upon whatever at the level or a stage that I'm working upon. I always look up to the next stage above that. It's not that if I this is the the first passion that has been running in me for all the time has been that I do not get satisfied at a certain level. I just always look at up for the next level. So I just always want to make a leap for the next level. So I my community's journey, it did not start up with actually running these college communities. Rather, it started being a campus ambassador for various edtech startups. That was the place where I saw all these guys managing different campus ambassadors. Post that, I started I started rigorously finding
Yeah.
out a way around that. So there were a couple of senior folks from my college who were working in the developer ecosystem, into the communities ecosystem, in almost all the bigger organizations. So like there was this senior of my college, who's around 3 years senior to me. He was the developer lead for Microsoft. Right now he's leading the GitHub campus experts program. So
Okay.
getting in touch with all these people gave me a lot of path guiding light.
So you started from outside of the college communities.
Exactly. Yep.
So how did you get to know about this? Like because there are many students in the where I study, and those reason that there are students who are not even aware of student communities like DSC or you say ACM or MLSA. But so how
Mhm.
did you get to know?
First of all, it's always about the senior influence. So you
Okay.
can put up an influence upon your college juniors or something. It's always community is nothing like so I'll tell you. So there was this funny incident that happened with me, that I was talking to a guy who was running his own community, and I asked him that why don't you start using Commudle for the platform which I'm working upon right now. So
Okay.
then that guy was like, if I start to build up my community on Commudle, then I have a fear that my audience will get distributed into other communities. So
Okay.
I I was like, oh, all right. But the next moment I was like, man, the communities are something that are never my community is different, your community is different. It does not work that way. Actually, it works in a way where communities start piling up, they create a big heap of the education system. They create a big heap of all the students. So that's how communities shape up in my terms.
That's wonderful. Yes, absolutely. And from your point of view, it really makes sense. So, moving on, that I would like you to share few things which you gained from each communities, so that students should not just get into communities but also understand to take some values from it.
So from one of the experiences that I have had all the time is, people start getting into the communities. They people will eventually start contributing, they'll start doing a lot of things. So this was one thing that I have personally experienced a lot of times. People start attending webinars, so people start
Right.
getting mad over them. Schedule a webinar for them every day, and then they'll be focusing upon a lot of things. Then they'll be dying for certificates that are for no value, like literally they are for no value. Then post that, they are not having any legit skill sets to showcase in front of a person. If we
Right.
stand up in
Right.
front of a person, so they'll be like, on the profile they'll be they have written data structures and algorithms, mon stacks. But when you go and ask them how to handle states in React or how to create components, they'll not be able to answer that particular question. So so according to me, this is the biggest advice that I could ever give to anyone, that apart from attending community events, apart from contributing to communities, one should all the time start learning and gaining experience and putting them into the real time projects. So putting them into reality is the realest big real gameplay, where all the big pool is there.
Okay. So, that is absolutely right. That a student shouldn't just get into communities just for the sake of the name or just to create a tag for themselves. But if I
Mhm.
ask you that from each community, how can you gain? Because like it happens that if student is let's say in a ABC community, and if he wants to move ahead to XYZ community, on what basis he should move ahead? Because like at what
So,
terms?
so yeah, so every community gives you to learn something in one way or the other. So I'll tell you, when I was starting up with communities, initially for the very first few communities, there was some community which gave me technical skills. There was some other
Okay.
community where I became a campus ambassador or campus manager, which gave me management skills. So like
Yeah.
those technical skills were something which gave me a lot of knowledge, but rather the other community which gave me a lot of soft skills. So combining both of these was something like that helped me take a big leap into the community market, or like into the developer ecosystem. That was the place where we start just gaining some experience, because someone who knows how to speak good is of no worth, someone who knows a lot of tech is of no worth. The place where you combine both of these, like is the place
Yeah.
where the worth is being created.
Like absolutely. Until and unless you just own the skills and develop yourself, there it will mean nothing.
Exactly, exactly,
Exactly. So
exactly.
not only being at many different communities, but also you had many different roles at different communities. So which one of them made you grow the most and why? Because I've seen that you also said that you were part of some campus ambassador and now you are leading at the KOI. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which position, like if I ask that, which position made you grow the most and like why?
So I'll never say like which position made me grew the most, because all of them had a very crucial and important step in my life.
Absolutely.
So you can never, so like so let us say if you stand on the top of a 13th floor building, you can never say which floor of the building helped you reach a bigger height in the building. It's that every floor counts an equal and a crucial step. Without having a single floor, like your building will again come down. So every floor has an equal and a crucial role in everywhere, like in every place. If you are reaching a
True.
particular height in a pyramid or something, so it's just that every brick counts.
Absolutely. So, like, I would like to say to the viewers also, like, if someone at any position right now, they should learn from that particular position rather than just sitting around and waiting for that. Okay, I want something great. I want something great. But at whatever level you are, you should learn more. That's absolutely nice answer. Wonderful. Thank you. So, let's move on. So, if I were to ask, say that if I'm going to start with any community, but I'm clueless, so what would be your guidance?
Okay, so like again at this point it depends on what way are you going to join a community, whether as a volunteer,
Okay.
organizer, member, or like or someone who's just like looking up over the complete community. So there are again multiple factors that get involved. Everyone has again, so as I mentioned earlier, everyone has an equal contribution. Everyone has a like important crucial role of a brick inside that. So it's eventually like rotating around that concept.
So first
If
of
you
all,
have
a
like
student must. Yeah, yeah.
if you have any concerned queries like regarding any particular concerned role, then you can like shoot them up.
So a student. So you are saying that first step should be that you should decide for yourself what you want to do inside a community. In case you join a community, whether
Exactly,
it is a
exactly,
contributor or just a managing system.
exactly.
Okay.
Plus
Okay.
also
Yeah.
like there are tons of communities. Some communities are high in terms of knowledge, some communities are high in terms of engagement. So
Mhm.
according to me, one should all the time explore multiple communities at the same time, and then they should find one like the one they're willing to contribute much more. Like it's all the time important to find people with the same mindset, to find people with the same pace where you are able to and willing to collaborate more.
Absolutely. Nice. So till now we were talking about your community side, but when I see that you are also a Stack developer, right? And so how are you balancing the technical as well as non-technical sides? Because when I see the students who, let's say, are part of community, so they are basically doing the managing sector or organizing sector, but they complain that they are not getting the time or they are not getting the interest, but or like that. So how are you managing both technical as well as non-technical side?
All right. So again, like a complex question. So I'll tell you the initial days of my college when I had just
Mm-hmm.
gone into college. So I used to have that computer science passion and all that running through my blood. So I'll tell you my daily schedule, how it used to look like. Morning, I used to start my classes at 8 a.m. I used to wake up at 7:55. Engineers, so they'll get ready in 5 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
I just used to join up for my classes inside the classes again. So I was one of the sleepy backbenchers in my classes. And post that, once my classes got over at 4 p.m., I used to come back to hostel, general, general, some food and stuff in the mess. Post that, used to sit on my laptop. Then the hustle started at 5 p.m. In between, I took a break for hardly half an hour to 40 minutes for a lunch. Sorry, for the dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Post that, I used to stay awake till 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., just like grinding through my device and going through various documentations of some code base or some other code base, diving into some other code base for GitHub, or anything. Just used to do anything. So that was the place where, my college faculty started to contact my parents, like, your child is getting, in the wrong side of the life, just control him up. And that was the point where I told everyone, like, just believe in me, and I'll show you the colors.
That's wonderful. So there is a follow-up question to this, that you are, as I said, that you are a stack developer and you have been coding, you have been grinding like longs and longs of hours, and you are also a community lead at KOI. Fine.
Hmm.
So would you refer students that they should maintain their technical side even though they are at a managing sector of any community? If yes, then why?
Obviously,
Please.
obviously, for all the time. So as I already told you, like, couple of minutes back, that was the only thing that I was talking to you. Someone who
Mm-hmm.
talks good is of no
Mm-hmm.
use. Someone who's good at tech is of no use. Someone who does both and is a combination is someone who is having the actual superpower. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what the students and all the people should, focus on becoming more.
Right, absolutely. And in case, I guess the technical sector also helps in you, whether it is in a community sector or not. Right.
Obviously it does. Obviously it does. So if you are a good speaker, you can be a good motivational speaker, but you cannot solve doubts for hundreds of people sitting in front of you. So that is the place, okay. So again, now let us say, if you are going into the community sector, people might get this opinion or a view that communities are all about organizing webinars in webd or
Yes.
tsa,
Yeah.
but rather it is much more than that. Community sector is having a much big role, which is called as developer relations. If you start to dive into that particular place, then and there you'll start to find, how crucial it is for a person to know all this tech and stuff, because this is something that helps them commute about the product that the company has been building, that they are, going to talk about to the future, to the world.
Absolutely right. This was a very good thing which you shared with the viewers. So the last question is something I would like you to share from your own experience. That what was the most the best thing you experienced in any of your community? Anything, just one incident.
Best thing inside any of the communities was
Yeah.
just only one single thing.
Okay.
When I was, coding. So after
Mm-hmm.
that particular coding period, there was a dot where I came up to a dot, and I was under, kind of mental loneliness, or, a lot
Okay.
of those things along with me. But that was the very point of crucial change where it brought a lot of things into me for communities. That was the place where I started building up my second family with the communities, and slowly my network has become so big. Right now there are folks in my life whom I haven't met even a single time in my life. Everyone has been virtual, but even if I call them up at 2 a.m. and I'll be like, hey man, I need this much amount of money, or hey man, I'm going through this thing mentally, can you help me out? These guys are like, they'll reject their girlfriend's call and they'll answer up my call. So that's the level of commute that I have built inside the communities. Can you see, they're like, literally rejecting someone else's important call, and they're like coming up to me just because that's the value I hold up for them. So
That's really
that's again
wonderful
very.
thing you shared, and yes, that's a very beautiful thing about community. If you can like own the thing for yourself, then you will have a good family around yourself. Otherwise,
Obviously.
yeah, that's really nice. So with this, we come to the end, and I would like you to share any last note with the viewers.
Nope. I guess, like, so any of the last notes that could be from my side is maintaining a
Yes.
balance is very important, and it's obviously a lot of times important. Maintain balance, start grinding over things, and at any point of time, okay. So there's this one important note that I'd like to
Yeah,
share
sure,
with
sure, sure.
everyone. So pay attention to me. Like,
Okay.
if your mind was diverted somewhere else, just pay attention to me. So this is what I want to share with everyone. Never compare yourselves with anyone else. The only competition that's there in the market for you is the yesterday's version of you. Plus, the
Right.
second thing is, you might think that there's this other guy who's doing better than you, there's this other guy who's doing lesser than you. Do not compare yourselves with anyone else, because it could be a possibility that someone who is doing a lot of things, like, so he is living in his own time zone. Someone could get a job at Google at the age of 22, but he might die at the age of 25. But someone who gets a job at Infosys at 22 but gets placed at Google at 28 is living a life of 60 years. Who's more successful? The one who got a job at Infosys, right? So eventually, this is what I want everyone to understand, that it is never going to happen that, like, you have to compare yourself with anyone else. Rather, your competition for any time is just you yourselves. Plus, you are all the time living in your own time space. You are always living in your own time zone. So, like, someone's progress is a bit faster, someone's progress is a bit slower. Eventually, everyone is going to earn those dollars, everyone is going to earn those INR, or, like, they are eventually going to come up at the same point. The only thing that's most important and matters all the time is your mental peace and your growth over time. That's it.
Nice. This is really good information and a very good message you give it to everyone. So with this, we come to this end, and I guess, and I hope that the viewers will learn something and will get motivated. And if they are stuck somewhere, they will stand back, see this video, and will understand that yes, how they have to move ahead. And then, thank you so much for joining me today, Sandeep. It is very nice that you shared your vision, your journey, your experience with us. Thank you so much. So, viewers, I will be back again with different people from worldwide communities. Thank you.